What's up, everybody? Sean here.
And I'm Tony.
And we are Convert to Geek. And today we're going to do a review on a playthrough we did of Rival Restaurants, which is a gap closer game. And it was produced by Rob Chu, John Kane, and Gary Alaka. And the art was by Audrey Jung.
And this was actually a game that I picked out during our Game Store Challenge in one of our previous videos. And it was really, we were really excited to get it on the table and try it out.
Yeah, absolutely. And so when we first did it, we did the unboxing, and we definitely felt like it wasn't a game that we thought would play well at 2 players, because you definitely want some player interaction going on. And so we did talk the rest of our family into playing it one night. So we played at the max count of 8 players. And let me tell you, 8 players, super fun. But with that super fun comes super chaotic.
Thoughts, Sean?
Definitely.
It was very chaotic.
So very chaotic. But that, I feel, is what made it fun. So we're just going to kind of run down. So I took some notes. We will throw in some video footage. We didn't record the whole thing because with 8 players, it was just too hard to set up video recording equipment with everybody around the table.
Yeah.
But we got a couple little snippets of the gameplay with our phones recorded, but we also took some notes, so we're just going to kind of cover some things on it and then give a final verdict on what we think on the game.
All right.
So number one thing I'm going to talk about is teaching 8 people. So I'm the board game enthusiast in our group, and so I was the one that had the pleasure and honor of teaching this game. And let me tell you, teaching 8 people a board game is insanely difficult to do. Luckily, the game is not overly complicated, I can say, but it's definitely something that, you know, you kind of can just give like a really quick, brief overview, but I feel like it's just like, all right, let's just play the first round, and you're just going to say, everybody set your dials where you want to go. You know, you're trying to complete these recipes. Give a little kind of brief overview, but man, when you got 8 people, I think I had every type of person at the table. People that were listening, people that were giggling, people that were like, I'm over it, let's play it.
So the thing I hate the most about board games is having to listen to the rules.
Without rules comes chaos.
I'd rather have the chaos.
Not me.
And so it is very challenging to teach it at the 8-player count.
Yeah, definitely. And you need to. Like, the rules are very important because it's a big game. So the rules, of course, like with any board game, are very necessary. But there were times where we were having sidebar conversations, we were looking at our phones, we were on, YouTube looking at stuff. So yeah, sorry. I'm probably guilty of.
Woo, so to all you board game teachers out there, woo, have fun. Like, if you're gonna play it, now granted, like, I didn't play this with a bunch of board gamers, so a lot of the folks in my family don't normally play a lot of games and don't normally play this style of game, and so definitely it was a very challenging opportunity for me. Obviously, if you're going to play this with a lot of other people that are into board games, you might find that challenge not so much. But definitely, if you're teaching people that have never really played a lot of board games,
memories,
you got it cut out for you. But I enjoyed it. So the next thing I got down to talk about is these dials. Okay, so everybody's going to have a dial. The dial, so you'll see there's some red, and then there's also a little gap in the dial. The gap is so you can turn the dial. So we thought originally that you would use that as a selector, but not really. It's to turn the dial, and then whatever you have under the red section is where you're going to go. But the important thing about this dial
keeps you honest
is you got to make sure people understand that the dial is where you're committing to go. So some people, I think, I don't know, they just were like fiddling with the dial, but then they just were going wherever they wanted. And so we had to kind of dial that down as the game went on. Part of that is just learning curve, but just make sure people understand that what you set it to and high, once everybody flips them, like, that is where you're gonna go. And then once everybody flips them over, then you're gonna go put your little person out in the area you selected on the dial. Right?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So the next thing I got is after, that's the first little thing you're going to do. You're going to select where you're going to go on the dial. And then everybody, once they have them all down, everybody's committed, then you're going to flip them over. And then everybody takes their little person and they're going to put them out in that area. So let's say I was going to the fruit stand. Then I'm going to come over here to the fruit stand. And then somebody else is going to go over there and maybe they want the same thing I want and they end up on the same thing as me. And so that's why you got to make sure people commit, because, you know, ending up on the same spot adds some tension to the game and you kind of want that. And that's why it's good to play it at a higher player count, because you want that to happen. At a lower player count, you pretty much can just go and never have that interaction because there's enough spaces to go. But with 8 people, you're going to end up with people fighting for the same stuff.
So Sean, tell everybody what the object of the game is briefly, with our restaurants and how you're trying to get popularity points, just so everybody knows quickly.
And
like
so
what...
everybody's going to have a restaurant. And so right here I have this as a Mexican restaurant. And you're going to be completing recipes, and there's 2 types. There's basic and gourmet recipes, okay? And in those recipes are going to have ingredients, and them ingredients you get from going around the board. So if you complete ingredients that match the restaurant style you are, like this restaurant makes Mexican dishes. So if I make a Mexican recipe, a Mexican dish recipe, then I get a plus on my popularity. And the goal is on the side is a little thing. You'll have a little deal here that goes on the side, and you just slide it up and down, and it keeps track of your popularity. The first one to get to 20, or if more people make it to 20, the one that has the most points at the end of it wins the game.
Right.
And so that's your goal. And so you got to go out. This is like the market. And so you got to go out with your little people into the market and get those items.
That was fun. The buy and barter portion was probably my favorite. And I know you're going to get into it more.
It's very much a negotiation game. So that brings me to the timer. And the timer is super fun. Like whoever's controlling the timer, you're going to have a lot of fun, right? Controlling the timer adds a lot of tension. You can have a lot of fun with it. I had a lot of fun with it. I was like really getting out, like, you better hurry, go, 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 go. And just really
intense.
Getting people like hyped up and adding to the tension. And that little timer runs out quicker than you think it is. And so the timer is just, I found to be super fun. So you can have a lot of fun with that, whoever's going to do it. You can pass the timer around if other people want to get on it. I pretty much controlled the timer the whole game. And I had a lot of fun with it. So I thought the timer really added to the fun and the tension of the game. So that brings me to what we were kind of talking about. So when you go out to this area, okay, you can buy from the area you go to. And so that's important. You want to make sure people understand that. If I go over here to the vegetable land, then I can buy the vegetable I'm on, anything that's in the counter that other people aren't standing on, and I can buy from the face down deck. During the same amount of time while the timer is going down, you can negotiate with people as well. And so if Tony is over here in the fruit stand and I buy my stuff and I like, oh man, I need tomatoes, then I can tell her, hey, I'll give you, normally they cost $100. I'll give you $200 to buy me the tomatoes. So that's $100 to buy it and then $100 for her to keep because she bought it for me and then she can give it to me. I can buy stuff that's already in front of her. We can swap recipes. You just can't swap restaurants.
Right. Exactly.
So pretty much you can trade anything that you want.
Here is a pro tip. Know your vegetables and know your fruit, because one of our family members spent a lot of money trying to get a specific vegetable. So he thought he was trying to get peppers, and he kept buying out of the vegetable stand, and it's actually a fruit. So beans, peppers, and tomatoes are part of the fruit family. So anything with a seed is a fruit. Avocados as well.
And so it is good to know that, because if not, you can dump a lot of money like we found in the vegetable stand looking for something that you're never going to find.
Yeah, he forked out a lot of money on that one.
He forked out a lot of money. So that part of the game is super fun. You got that time, so you're going to negotiate. Make sure people know they can only buy from their stand, but they can negotiate with people to buy from another stand. But like if nobody went over here to the Dairy King area, I can't just buy up all that butter and milk because nobody's there. I can only buy from my area.
Yeah.
All right, so my next point is event cards are super fun. And I've seen a few reviews where people have said that they weren't too crazy about them, that some of them are super powerful. I felt like, man, they add a ton to the game.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Your thoughts?
Oh, they were probably my favorite part of the game other than the buy and barter because, and let me just go over a couple of my favorite ones. So I thought I was slick there's a card called Armed Robbery, and you steal half of one chef's money. And I thought I was slick because my dad had so much money piled up, and I pulled this card thinking, oh, I'm gonna get half of his money. And then he goes and counters a clairvoyance card, and I felt stupid. And the clairvoyance is stop any action card or chef power used against you, and it protects only you. It can be used to negate another clairvoyance, does not count towards the one action card per day limit. So here I was thinking I was gonna rob him, and I got the brakes pumped on me. So
super fun.
Another one of my favorite cards too was Monopoly, and you could pick a specific ingredient. Everyone must give you all of that ingredient that they own. So it was a lot of fun. Everybody's trying to work really hard at their recipes, trying to, get all the ingredients for them, and then you go and you make them give you whatever ingredient, and then it prolongs them from getting to make their.
So definitely
that was fun.
The event card shut me down a couple times. I was pretty close to being at 20 points, and people played some event cards that I couldn't go to the market, so I couldn't go buy that last ingredient I needed. Yeah. Or they took one of the ingredients that I needed, and so then I had to go back to a market to get it. And so definitely they add to the game, but I thought that, man, they just add a lot of fun. One thing to note though is that when you're in the negotiation stage and people play an event card, you got to make sure to remember to stop the timer, because when an event card's played, everything stops. So you got to be like, stop, everybody stop, and then resolve that card. Then once that card's done, then you get it back, go, and you get everybody going again. Yeah. But you got to stop that timer because everything stops. And sometimes it can take a minute to resolve that event card, and then you run out of time where people still would have had time to do what they got to do in the market.
Exactly.
But thumbs up to the event cards, man. They made me crack up. Some of them are mean. I mean, taking people's money, taking their hard-earned ingredients and stuff is heart-wrenching when you've been working on all this. But it makes the game very interesting, and it just makes it more random where you just like, man, I thought I was about to do this, and bam, somebody, and it makes holding on to clairvoyances super powerful.
Clairvoyance, you put that cheese back.
Oh, god dang, somebody just got clairvoyant.
All right, guys.
So, event cards, I think super fun. Another thing I want to talk about too is the game is very finicky. So there is a lot of maintenance to do. In my case, I was the gamer in the group, so I knew the rules. And so I had to keep up on everything. And I had to keep up on everything with that timer and help everybody and still try to get my stuff in and negotiate with people. And so that part of the game can be very finicky. So just be prepared to know, like, make sure you know the rules and you can kind of keep up. And so when you're doing your dial phase, you really need to kind of map out, like, this is what I'm going to do, so that you can do that real quick and then help keep everybody in line and help get with the event cards and just kind of help along the way.
And to be honest, I think you did a fabulous job doing that, because you were able to help all of us out. And I remember I felt bad for you. I'm like, oh, I feel like you need a little bit more time, but you didn't miss a beat. Like, you were really good about that. Like, you were able to help us and then get your stuff in order, and like, you didn't run out of time or anything. So you did a really good job.
Well, thank you. I try. So just be prepared for that. And know, like, you're going to have to help some along, even if some people in your group are experienced and some aren't, or they're just new to the game. Like, I've got a lot of friends that are gamers, and man, I put them in front of a new game and they struggle to pick up on little nuances. So you're going to want to be able to help them. And it can be a little bit hectic when you're talking about this here timer. So just something that I wanted to note. Another thing I'd like to note in the finicky of when you're doing all this cleanup is one thing to know that I didn't know until later on in the game is that this pops out. So pro tip, no, this pops out. So I went to pick the thing up, this bottom fell, and all these little dials that sit in there too went flying everywhere. And so we had to pause momentarily to clean it. So you can just put this on the board or put them both, but just know that this comes out independently. So another good thing to notice to make sure people understand, the island is its own area. And when you're at the island, you can't buy none of the items. You only can upgrade your restaurant by buying these little dials or get rid of trash, which you get when you cook recipes. So every time you cook a recipe, based on how many points you get, you collect garbage. And when you collect garbage, you got to go to the island to get rid of it, unless you have an event card or something that helps you get rid of it. But if you have garbage and you complete a recipe, then it deducts from the number of popularity you get for each trash that you haven't gotten rid of. Nobody wants to eat at a dirty restaurant.
No.
Absolutely not.
You want that E for excellent.
All right, and then my last point is, after you do all that crazy, hectic, chaoticness of doing all the negotiation and everything, and really the meat of the game is kind of in that point in time of the game, then everybody at that point, once that's done, the timer's out, you're gonna say, all right, can anybody complete a recipe at this time? Very important is, if somebody says, yes, I can, is somebody needs to verify that recipe.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because my mom tried to make fish tacos without
No fish.
How do you make fish tacos with no fish?
She's sneaky. She'll do that. She's very sneaky.
So the funny thing is that I don't even think she was trying to be sneaky. Is that particular recipe took 2 pieces of fish and she only had 1. I don't think she caught that.
Yeah.
But luckily the person next to her verified it, was like, no, you ain't done. You can't complete that. You need more fish. So just make sure the rules say the person to your left. We found that to be pretty easy. Everybody was pretty honest and keeping each other honest. And then, you go up in popularity, you get trash, you lose some popularity if you had trash. So again, if you're the one teaching the game, you're gonna kind of have to just go one by one. Once the recipe's been verified, and help people do their stuff. Each time you go up in popularity, your restaurant gets a little bonus. Some are just ongoing. They might give you a discount to buying stuff. They might give you a one-time get, 2 event cards, or, you get whatever. So just make sure that you remind them that when they hit that spot, that you get that item or you get that bonus. So, and that's pretty much, I think, in terms of the review, like that's everything I wrote down to really cover.
So did you like the game?
So I've never played a real-time auction game ever. And I've just never gotten one to the table. And I wasn't too sure really how I was going to feel about that. And man, like that was the part of the game to me that made it super, super fun. And I just loved that chaoticness of putting your stuff out. And man, you put out, and at one point me and Tony were both trying to go for some alien goo to complete a recipe. And we both go to the same place, and now we got to bid out who's going to pay the most to get it. And it's like, man, I really need that. So I really did enjoy it. You?
I loved this game. I will admit, I was probably one of the ones in the beginning of Sean explaining the rules that might have been off in La La Land. Sorry. But, and listening to the rules, I was like, oh my God, this sounds really complicated, but it wasn't. It was so fun. This game was a blast. And I think what made it so fun was the chaos and its fast pace and having more people. I think if it was just Sean and I playing, it wouldn't have been as fun. No offense. No, I'm just kidding. But with all of our family and everybody kind of being new, we're like, we want, I want garlic, I need this, so I'll buy this from you. That's what made it so fun, and trying to screw each other over. I mean, you can't go wrong with that.
No, it's fun. And yeah, it is a little bit mean. And it can get the tempers flaring a little bit, but I think, so one thing I will say is when you play this game, like you can't go into this game like I'm gonna win.
Yeah.
You gotta go into this game like I'm just gonna have fun and I'm gonna make the best out of it. And if you do that, man, you will have a blast. If you don't focus on the winning so much and you just focus on the interaction and having fun, and then if you win, you win. In this case, my daughter won. Actually, I got to 21 points and she got to 23 points, and I think my mother-in-law also got to 21 points. So 3 of us got to above to win the game, but my daughter actually snuck the win in at the last minute. And I still, man, I had such a blast playing it.
I will say though that you will need to check your blood pressure every
man, we need
this game.
to check our blood pressure.
You're gonna feel like your blood
We got
pressure.
people
is
mad
through
at
the
each
roof.
other.
That's what makes it fun.
Yeah, it's, man, if anything I can tell you, this game is super hectic. But that's what makes it fun. Like,
Definitely.
I definitely felt like I was a rival restaurant.
Yeah,
And
for
I
sure.
was definitely competing with everybody to get my recipes out, dished, and ready to be served. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Like I said, I really like the timer. It puts a lot of pressure on. And it definitely, I would play another real-time action game because I just really enjoyed the mechanic
And
of
it's
that.
a really pretty game. The artwork is beautiful. It's very colorful. I always say that. But this was a really pretty game. I thought I liked it.
Yeah, the production's great, and you know, we got the deluxe Kickstarter edition, so I don't know what the regular edition comes with, but the trash is plastic tokens, the money's plastic tokens.
Right.
But overall, like, I like the art, it's fun. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a good game.
I did too. I liked it a lot. I can't wait to play it again. I can't wait to like have our family over again and play.
Yeah, super.
And they liked it too.
Yeah, and we asked, you know, partway through the game, Tony did on video
So
and
what are
said,
your
hey,
guys'
what's
first
everybody's
thoughts
thoughts
of
on
the
the
game?
game? And man, it was a winner for everybody at the table. So
Cutthroat.
definitely,
Yeah.
you don't have to be an experienced gamer to play this game because
For sure.
everybody had a blast. All right, so your final verdict?
Definitely a thumbs up. 2 thumbs up. It was awesome.
Thumbs up.
I liked it. Definitely would play it again and would recommend it to people that are non-gamers.
Absolutely.
I think they would enjoy it. It's a lot of fun.
It was a lot of good job, Gap Closer Games. We really enjoyed it. So hopefully, if you've been wanting to know more about rival restaurants, or you know you didn't know nothing about it, hopefully you found this to be interesting and make you want to play it. We found it to be a lot of fun. Hopefully you liked this video. If you liked our video, please make sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you get notifications when we drop new content. And man, we really appreciate you taking time to watch it, and this one was a winner.
All right. Thank you so much for watching.